Mr. Bean Robinson. So thank you so much for your time. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm interested in the rich history of the school. Please take me back as, the history of the school and when it started.
Okay, the school itself started in 1979. Back then, we were living in the old Western, it was called the Western Colored Township. So many of us, we were forced to go to Coronationville Secondary School, which is an area adjacent to Westbury, because there was no school in Westbury. But in 1979, a Westbury Secondary School was built, and we all moved there, myself being an alumni of the school.
Wow. And therefore you became a principal a couple of years later.
Yes.
When you started with the school as its principal, what were some of the challenges that you were confronted with?
The normal school challenges, but my main challenge was results. We were performing at a level of, between 50 and 59%. So we were not really a good performing school. We were labeled, as an underperforming school, at the time. And, it was not nice always to sit in meetings and be called an underperforming school.
Right.
But then we had to sit as management and come up with a plan to see how we can turn around the results. And in 2009, we sat as management and we looked at, actually after an inspection, I would say, as we called it in the old days, and all the problems were identified, and we looked at our curriculum. We found that too many of our learners were forced in a certain direction. That was now in mathematics and science. Almost 80% of them were forced to move in that direction. So we streamlined our subjects into the different career paths. We have 4 streams right now. The one being the sciences, maths and science. We call it the BSc. The second one being the technical. And then the third one being the general stream. And the fourth one, the commercial stream. So our kids are now free to choose in whichever direction, and it makes it easier for them also know to choose their career path.
And you did mention, Principal Robinson, that you had to sit as management, obviously, and inspect what the challenges were and what suitable solutions you could come with, of course, to ensure that your pass rate increases, but also to position Westbury High as, one of the prominent schools within Johannesburg. How did you also involve the community members, the parents? Because most schools also complain that we can't educate and parent children without the help of parents also showing key interest in their children's progress.
Yes, we are blessed. I won't say lucky. We are blessed to have a school hostel, even though school hostels have been, terminated a while ago in the 1990s. But we have a hostel. So part of the plan, this was now together with our school governing body. I must say that is one of the most, hard-working school governing bodies that you can get. Very supportive, supporting, the teaching staff. And we came up with a plan in terms of how are we going to use this hostel to support teachers in the classroom. A situation of getting the teachers to teach and having other support structures. I don't want to mention the social issues in our community. It has been mentioned already. Right. But just to support us in that way. So we have 2 wings of the hostel. The one wing, that is the eastern wing, we use for accommodation for our grade 12s. That is during the exam. We have them there for 5.5 weeks, depending on which exam it is. They stay there, we feed them, we motivate them, we look after them. We are their parents. And we have a group of parents, a committee who looks after them. And then on the western wing, we've turned into what we call the Westbury Youth Center. Now the Westbury Youth Center plays a major role in that there is where we get our career guidance, emotional support to our kids. We have certain organizations such as FAMSA, such as SANCA, helping our learners. So the youth center is actually the support structure to the school. And I must mention Investec as one of our main sponsors, is playing a wonderful role in that. The accommodation section was revamped by them to make it more, comfortable for our learners to studying. Yes.
Let's talk about your pass rate as well, which is another good story that, of course, I've shared, that, from 2006, you had 50% pass rate as far as your learners were concerned. And now in 2015, you're boasting a 91% pass rate. How has this turnaround changed the outlook on the school and the community? And even with the lower learners who are in grade 8, grade 9, looking at that standard and having to ensure that they maintain it or at least beat it to 100%.
It's a headache right now. now.
Is
You know,
it?
just on my way here, I got a call from a parent. I want my child at that school.
Yeah.
You know, it's really a headache in that, we cannot accommodate everyone. And I must also mention that, Westbury Secondary School is one of the few schools where over 95% of the learners come from the area. I think that is one, one of the things that has played a pivotal role in that the parents are on hand when you need them. So I've always said to our parents is that if the school does well, the community does well. And I see the school as the beacon of hope for our community. With all the stigma attached to Westbury. Whenever you hear the name Westbury, I've been to Cape Town, I've been to some places in the country. When I mention I'm from Westbury, it's as if I'm from hell. But with our school doing so well, it has really turned around, the image, of our community as a whole.
Yeah. And I'm sure you encourage a lot of other, schools that are facing similar, challenges. And with that said, before I let you go, Principal Robinson, what would your message be to those schools that are facing similar challenges at this point? Admire your hard work as a school, your patience, of course, as the school's management with the children, with their potential, as well as the community. What would you say to them?
I would say to them, one important thing, make the community part of the school. Get the community to have ownership of the school. That's the important part. If the community have a say in the school, it makes everything else much better. It actually creates an atmosphere where teachers and parents can work together and the educational process becomes successful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time.
It's
Congratulations. I wish you all the best in 2016.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, that was Principal of Westbury Secondary School, Mr. Bean Robinson, of course, telling us more about the challenges that were previously faced by the school and, the outstanding work that the team, including teachers, the learners and the community have made towards their success at this moment.